Oh, are those viewers? Oh. Yikes. Okay. Anyways, well, you know how this drill is. Just your fellow man of letters and favorite Winchester brother, Bradford Schiebel here, doing a very impromptu book review of my favorite book of all time, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Man, unlike in my other book reviews, there will be spoilers in this video, so pay close attention to when I make reference to them. So as you can probably tell, this video was edited some months ago. However, I thought it was poignant to just now release it because all of the Harry Potter related content in our lives is just getting to be exponentially beautiful. But after that chaotic interlude, I now present to you this video. This won't follow my normal structure of book reviews because this guy is just a masterpiece. I'm just going to be giving my raw thoughts because I finished rereading it for X amount of times this evening on Audible. And as I was driving around Johns Creek in Duluth, Georgia, all I could do was just listen to the last couple chapters of this masterpiece. A lot of people will disagree with me on what they think about order. I'm going to start off by addressing that and saying you are entitled to your opinions. However, I think you need to dig a little deeper as to why Harry is an angsty mess in this book. Because if you were to put himself in your shoes, if you were to put yourself in his shoes, you would feel similarly. You would literally just seen a classmate, a friend, die in front of your eyes and then see the person who killed your parents rise from the grave and then wrestle with the fact that no one else around you knows what that feels like. And having everyone actively out to discredit you when you know you're right, but yet nobody will believe you. And the way Rowling writes this book is you feel Harry's pain. You feel his anger. You feel his sadness. You feel the grief. But you also feel the longing and desire he has just to be a normal kid, while also dealing with the weight of the wizarding world. Ultimately, Harry's desire to try and avoid that pain and avoid that discomfort ends in tragedy. Out of all of the deaths in this series, Sirius's death hit me the hardest. Not because Sirius is my favorite character, but because of the effect it had on Harry and just the absolute skill Rowling uses in her words to go through the stages of grief that Harry has to deal with all over again. And it's the way she writes it is just so you can put yourself in that situation. Just the moment when Sirius dies. It seemed to take Sirius an age to fall. His body curved in a graceful arc as he sank backward through the ragged veil hanging from the arch. And Harry saw the look of mingled fear and surprise on his godfather's once handsome face, as he fell through the ancient doorway and disappeared behind the veil, which fluttered for a moment as though in a high wind and then fell back into place. Harry heard Bellatrix Lestrange's triumphant scream, but knew it meant nothing. Sirius had only just fallen through the archway. He would reappear from the other side any second. But Sirius did not reappear. Hold on. Sirius! Harry yelled. Sirius! Harry's breath was coming in searing gasps. Sirius must be just behind the curtain. Harry, would pull him back out again. But as he sprinted towards the dais, Lupin grabbed Harry around the chest, holding him back. There's nothing you can do, Harry. Get him! Save him! He's only just gone through. It's too late, Harry. We can still reach him. Harry struggled hard and viciously, but Lupin would not let go. There's nothing you can do, Harry. Nothing. He's gone. Oh, man. Every time I read that, just the magnitude of that and the weight of grief Harry must carry, knowing that he is fighting the incarnation of death, but also knowing he's wrestling with the grief. He's wrestling with the stages of grief. You see that first in his denial. Then you see it in his anger in attacking Bellatrix for what she did to Sirius. And then in the bargaining phase when he's trying to decide whether or not he can find a way to see Sirius again, even though Sirius is he's gone. And then his depression phase when he just wants to be alone because he doesn't think anyone else in his life understands. And then the acceptance that Sirius is gone, but that he can always hold on to Sirius's memories. However, the sadness and the acceptance phases of grief bring out one of the most magnificent scenes between the absolute icon, Luna Lovegood. She talks to Harry about the idea of an afterlife and says, I heard those voices too. They were just out of sight, just around the corner. And if you believe in the afterlife, if you believe in Jesus Christ, then that's something I will affirm, because I think that will be something we can look forward to when we can see our loved ones again. And that's a beautiful thing. But Luna unlocks that for Harry. She helps him to realize that it's not abnormal to deal with these isolating feelings of grief and of sadness. That's not abnormal. It's what makes us human. Like I was saying earlier, I think this book is a lot of people's least favorite Harry Potter book because it is very sad. And Harry is at the height of his teen angst. He's hot-headed, he's angry because, to go back to the discussion about the Ministry of Magic and their utter incompetence, especially when Umbridge just is doing everything in her possible power to rail Harry out of the public eye and discredit him. Dolores Umbridge reckons a lot of us back to the terrible and reprehensible human being that is Donald Trump. She is literally Donald Trump. Just magical and a woman and looks like a toad. But the utter incompetence to address Voldemort's rise to power and the events happening in the Wizarding World, the breakout from Azkaban, Sturgis Podmore being placed under the Imperious Curse and trying to break into the Department of Mysteries, Arthur Weasley being attacked literally by one of Voldemort's Horcruxes in the Department of Mystery. How did they not notice? And then she has the audacity to send Dementors after Harry? Like, what the hell? Utter incompetence. And yet, here they are, just discrediting him and trying to take control of his school and of his life and saying that his experiences are not valuable. And seeing Harry grow from
somebody sitting on the sidelines who's had everyone do everything for him in the books prior to Order, and then him actually take up that mantle reluctantly. He's very much like a Jon Snow in my mind. Take up that mantle reluctantly and lead his fellow students in learning how to use defensive magic and taking back control for themselves is just an incredible flex for my guy. But he still doesn't understand why all of this is happening to him. Why is he special? Why is he chosen by Voldemort? Why is he Voldemort's rival? That goes back to a line that Dumbledore says to Harry in chapter 37. Sorry about that, my camera cut off. I'll just read it again. "Harry, I owe you an explanation," said Dumbledore. "An explanation of an old man's mistakes. For I see now that what I have done and not done with regard to you bears all the hallmarks of the failings of age. Youth cannot know how age thinks and feels, but old men are guilty if they forgot what it was to be young, and I seem to have forgotten lately." That line has resonated with me every single time I return to this book, because in my life, when I've seen other people who I look up to and respect as authority figures not acting in the respect that their office commands them to act, in the short-sightedness of that, I read Dumbledore's quote to Harry and I think, how have these people failed me? And like I was saying earlier, as part of being human, we are broken, we are flawed, we make mistakes. And I think that's one thing that keeps drawing me back to Order of the Phoenix and to Harry Potter as a whole, is that this series, despite its wonder, its whimsy, and childlike imagination, has such deep human wisdom embedded in these pages of characters who are so relatable at points. Certain characters, not all of them. The best character in this series is Severus Snape, without a doubt. So all you Snape's haters, screw off. Snape's the best. He's a dick, but he's the best. This series reminds me, and even rolling right into the canon of the magic, regardless of how powerful a wizard or witch is, there is no spell to reawaken the dead. There is no spell or potion or ritual that can bring your loved ones back to life if they have died. And I think that's a reminder to us that when we lose someone we love, or when we lose an experience or an experience ends, we have to be able to accept the consequences of that. We have to accept the good, the bad, what was blooming, what was starting to die. We have to accept that grief. Some people might be over it in a day. Other people might take a year before they're able to get back on their feet. And that's okay. And even though that's not the majority of this book, Harry has to learn that in order to go on to carry the weight of the wizarding world and carry the weight of his grief, knowing that he has loved ones, that he is loved, and ultimately that he has hope that he can see his loved ones again. But he has to face death and face that tragedy, face that ultimate enemy before he is able to do so. And this book opens up those doors. This is truly the book, I believe. Harry Potter goes from a children's tale to, honestly, this will be a story that will never be forgotten. I know I'm a millennial in saying that, but this is the book where Harry Potter becomes adult in mature fiction, and Rowling definitely proves her writing style in it. However, I am unfortunately out of time. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to my very scattered thoughts on Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, my very favorite book of all time. And I know people will hate me for this video, but I don't really care. And I want you to leave the comments down below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of Luna Lovegood's obsession with Nargles. I'm going to head back to the bunker. Follow me on social media. On Instagram, I'm at Bradford Schiebel_media. So, love you guys. Hope to see you all again soon. Peace out.